Hey up. I've been doing a lot of mapping, modding, and server lately, and my mod list has, well, joining random servers has subbed me to a stupid amount of mods, but it has revealed some gems in the rough, which I've saved to a favourites list using the mod manager. Which brings us pretty neatly to our first mod. The mod manager is a mod which everybody should have installed. It adds the ability to make presets, enable, disable mods. It's basically everything the vanilla mod manager should be. With that in mind, make sure that for every mod that you subscribe to, you also get all the dependencies. 90% of the mods on Zomboid are just quality of life mods, or mods which improve, well, the quality of life. Mods that should, or probably will be in the game eventually. Propane torch fix makes it hold 10 times the gas, so you have to refill it 10 times less often. Auto cook throws ingredients together when cooking, instead of manually clicking all the options. Saves a load of time. Auto mechanics and auto sewing adds an option to train both skills in their respective menu. No more right clicking to add and remove patches for 10 hours. No more uninstalling and reinstalling every car part manually. If you've ever had a black bag, it's basically invisible in your inventory. This mod just makes them visible, and it's nice for the other backpacks too. Reorder containers and reorder the hotbar let you reorder your inventory and your hotbars, without having to unequip and re-equip all your holsters and belts. Clear description for Moodles adds clear and concise descriptions for Moodles. There's a lot of convoluted stuff in Zomboid, like I didn't even know that minor pain increased your trip chance until I did this little recording here. Similarly, mod description for traits does the same thing, but for your traits in the character creation menu. You will learn a lot about the game's mechanics with these two mods. There are plenty of spawn mods out there, but Contextual Louisville spawns is probably my favourite. Two of the others I use are the Grand Ohio Mall spawns and Knox County Rural spawns. If you haven't started in Louisville, I highly recommend it. Disassemble containers with items is a mod I can't believe I went so long without. I have wasted countless hours emptying containers in warehouses just so I could disassemble them. Dive through windows is a continuation of jump through windows. Basically, if you're sprinting, you can go through a closed or open window. Great for those clutch moments that Zomboid is so Zomboid is Who doesn't want to scribble all over the map? Personally, I'm all for removing the symbols and drawing everything by hand. A great addition to this mod is the extra map symbols and map symbol size slider. Duck's Zombie Fix is a very new mod, which comes with some caveats. Here we can see I've deleted all the zombies and there's no zombies inside the building, but once we get close enough, the game spawns them inside. Duck's Zombie Building Spawn Fix fixes this, however, due to the increased zombie count, performance will take a hit, especially in areas with lots of buildings, like Louisville. It will also spawn zombies on top of you when you spawn in for the first time, and people have reported zombies spawning on the roofs, where they can't get down. It's a no-brainer for me though, I can deal with that. Exercise with gear just lets you exercise with backpacks. Used to really annoy me. Faster HUD opening is, Fix Inventory Tooltip Lab simply gets rid of the freeze when you try and rip clothes. Did you know that the foraging zones in pretty much the whole map are broken? Foraging Z fixes that. It's most notable around Louisville. Are you seeing a theme here? Fuel Side Indicator is a mod I refuse to believe anybody plays without. It simply tells you which side you need the gas pump on. Has Been Read is a mod I refuse to believe anybody plays without. It simply shows you what you have read, have started reading, and haven't read. Minimal Display Bars is a mod I can't really play without these days. It adds little bars that are completely customizable in size and colour, as well as being able to move and remove the bars individually. It's great for knowing exactly when you'll get tired or when you're about to start starving, that kind of thing. Can you tell in this image if I'm hungry, very hungry, starving, or just peckish? Moodle Quarters makes it instantly recognisable, with each corner signifying the next level of the Moodle. Out the window lets you throw corpses out the window, which saves tons of time on corpse disposal. Reload all magazines just gives you an option to reload all your magazines at once rather than one at a time. Similarly, Stack All lets you combine all of your consumable items into one stack. Stop, Drop and Roll is a mod I am surprised I have survived this long without. Tuck and Roll lets you jump out of a moving vehicle. Just don't do it if you're going too fast. Weapon Condition Indicator makes it much easier to see the condition of your weapon at a glance. If you play with corpse health impact high, like I do, then Working Masks is a must. It'll protect you from corpse sickness depending on the quality and the kind of mask that you use. The next few are more immersion based mods. They either help you to feel immersed, or they give the world a bit more depth. Fancy Handwork is a really popular mod at the minute. It adds little animations for opening doors, turning on light switches, drawing weapons from different sides. But the reason I like it so much is the ability to switch between primary and secondary weapons, which gets further expanded by the Brutal Handwork mod, which lets you attack with your offhand weapon, and also gives you unarmed attacks. But I usually disable this because I don't like it. Carvin's Firearm Repair makes it so that you can disassemble guns into parts and reassemble them. You can either repair the parts, or just pair them with a better part. It works with all the vanilla guns, and most of the guns in Firearms Build 41. It did take me a while to figure out how to use it though. Yet another mod I got about a year ago and never looked back. The Crashed Cars mod simply replaces the burnt out models with models that look more like the actual cars. True Actions Act 1 and 2 is that little bit of immersion you need. I'll be surprised if most people don't have this mod. Vehicle Light Chime is a really simple mod. It just plays a little chime if you leave the light on with the engine off. And finally, Weather Moodles. It has no impact on the game whatsoever, but it just helps me immerse myself in what my character is experiencing. Next is some mods which I use for challenge. I almost always run with them, but most people will consider them challenge mods. Ridiculously Rare is for the loot goblins out there. I would always find myself amassing hordes of loot, and then losing interest in the game since I didn't need anything. The mod comes with two options, Ridiculously Rare and Ridiculously Rare Even Worse, which is what I used for a long time up until recently. In addition to Ridiculously Rare, 75% less food loot works great in tandem. Even with Ridiculously Rare Even Worse, there would still be too much food spawned in the world. I recommend trying it even if you don't want the challenge, as it comes with 75%, 50% and 25% options. What you're seeing here is 3 houses worth with 75% less food loot. Water Goes Bad is a great one for an extra level of challenge. You can set it so that the water becomes tainted after a certain amount of time and also drains from all sinks, toilets and bathtubs. A great challenge is to play with the tainted tooltip off, so you don't know if water is good or not. The Darkness Is Coming is a great flavour mod which is fully customizable and even has an option to change the zombie's speed in darkness. And finally, Worst Vehicle Condition, which is another mod I never looked back from. Being grounded to your starting location instead of hotwiring the first car you see and zooming off to the best loot makes those first weeks more difficult, and it makes your first car all the more rewarding. It's also been taken off the workshop, but you should be able to still use my link to get it. And then there's some mods which I can only describe as making the game more fun. Sometimes I use them for a niche challenge, or sometimes I just play with them in my off time. Authentic Z is surely the most well-known mod in Zomboid. It's all cultists! It adds a ton of zombie outfits, which really help make the world feel alive, and you can wear them. Better Lockpicking adds a really nice minigame into the game to unlock doors and hotwire vehicles. It really just fits into the game super nicely. Bomb spawners loot, Xenotots, bomb recipes, and louder sound makers and 4x range remotes all combine to make a really nice set. You've probably never used a noisemaker or a pipe bomb, since they're locked behind the engineer profession. Bomb spawners loot will give you easy access to use some of these, although it could be considered quite overpowered. Expanded Helicopter Events is just a wonderful mod. It adds different kinds of helicopters with different properties. Some will help you, some will hinder you. But the main thing for me is that they move the hordes around. Firearms Build 41 is the only vanilla-like gun mod that I enjoy. It doesn't add too much, and it feels very vanilla. It also works with the Firearm Repair mod for the most part, and doesn't feel too overpowered. Any gun mod is usually overpowered. Scrap armor, scrap weapons, and scrap guns add real value to the metalworking skill. At the risk of being a little overpowered, it's a great way to make a real apocalypse warrior. Trash and Corpses fills the world with trash and corpses. It's customizable and you can find loot on them. Are you bored of the vanilla cars but don't want to download 100 car mods? Vanilla Vehicle Enhancer simply retextures the cars and adds variations. And my god did they do a good job. Zombie Virus Vaccine is pretty broken, very difficult, very convoluted, and certainly not for everyone. But I think it's a great mod to try. There's also the Reezy Vaccine mod by Keras, which fixes a lot of the issues with the original, but I personally don't like the additions made. A fun challenge is to try and survive while infected, having to make a booster every 8 or so days with the infection set to 1 to 2 weeks. And the last mod I'm going to give you today is Advanced Trajectory. It completely changes the way that you shoot guns, and I personally consider it to be very overpowered, but it's much more engaging than the vanilla shooting, and it's way more fun. I recommend giving it a try, even if you don't stick with it. Alright, that's it from me. See you later. You know. Just give me time.